Adrian Wojnarowski reports the Clippers are trading Philip Petrusev and cash to the Kings. Petrusev arrived from Philadelphia in the James Harden deal, and Kings will get a chance to evaluate the 23-year-old and see if he has a future there.
Let's see what we can find.
Huh?
My man.
Can he beat the Warriors?
Bring him up today.
Let's see what's out there.
Throw him. Can he guard Steph Curry? Put him on him next.
Can this guy beat the? Can Cash? How does Cash guard Steph?
Cash don't miss.
Neither
neither
does Steph. So can Cash stop Steph from scoring tonight?
All right, he's a 6'11" center rookie. Oh, he's
By the way,
played 3 minutes in the
Does
NBA.
anyone know who this guy is?
Nah, no.
Okay,
Did he go to college?
Well, that's not in his tweet. I don't know. I just read a tweet.
Well, Z seems to have did he go to college?
I don't think so. It looks like overseas. Give me a sec.
Will looking at his 57-inch monitor. Yeah. His monitor of numbers.
I swear it's not that big in real life. It just looks worse.
Have you ever gone back and watched like one of our conversations together since you have this set up?
No, to be honest, I hate hearing myself talk.
Understandable. Go watch it. It's hilarious.
Yeah. So Norm in the
college,
chat, he says an extra 6 fouls to throw at Steph. Now it's got me thinking. Is Philip gonna play that JoJo English role?
Okay, stop it. Why? Your fascination with JoJo English really, really bothers me.
I mean, the one time in the NBA, the coach said, "You've got one job. Go start a fight and get the point guard suspended."
Well,
and it worked.
We're not condoning that type of behavior here on KC.
All right, he was at Gonzaga in 2018 and 19 and 19 and 20, and then played overseas in the EuroLeague for 21-22 and 22-23. Last year in the EuroLeague, 11 points, 5 rebounds, 1.8 assists, 59% from the field, 52% from 3. So I don't know, shot in the dark.
I guess.
Okay.
Maybe a G League staff.
I got $20 that says James comes in here tomorrow at 10 and talks about how much better he is than JaVale McGee.
Oh no! Why does he always do that to JaVale, man? Why? Come on, man!
Shout out James. Hopefully he's listening to us on his way to the game. Yeah. This incredible. This guy doesn't make the mistakes that JaVale McGee does. And boy, that Cash.
Who was the guy that we all, and I'm not putting just James in this, who was the guy that came in and was setting screens? And we were like, oh, that's awesome. I don't think it was Alex Lynn.
I thought it was Alex Lynn.
Maybe it was, but I thought it was like a guy who didn't play no more after that.
Oh.
It was like 2 years ago.
Oh.
And he was in for Rashawn Holmes. And
he was really hyped when the Miz Kata came in one day, and he was like, yeah, he was doing all this stuff. It might be that if we're thinking of the same thing.
No, this was a white guy.
I have no clue then.
Was it the guy they called up from the G League?
Yeah, they called him up from the G League because Rashawn had gotten hurt. I think Whiteside wasn't. Well, no, I was at the game, so maybe it was before. I don't know. I'll find out what it was. But there was a guy, and he came in.
He's a screen
setter. He set like 4 screens, and I'm not even putting just anybody else out there. I was like, yo, I think Matt George was saying it too. He's like, yo, these screens this dude is setting, yo.
We're so stupid. Man, we're so stupid. That's what we're doing with our life. Yo, look at Brody out here setting screens.
I'm not gonna lie though, that's been me in the past too. I love a good screen.
Oh, those screens are
because the whole complaint was Marvin Bagley don't set screens.
Yes,
true. And this guy came in and was setting. It might have been Eric Micah. That's who I'm looking at right now. That's
what I was thinking too.
It might have been Eric Micah. I think
the great screen game from Eric Micah. You got De'Aaron's heroics with the turned ankle against the Lakers, and you got the great screen game from Eric Micah. All right, man. I go back to my original question: can Cash guard Steph? Because if Cash can't guard Steph, I don't know what we're looking at.
If he can't,
I don't think anyone can guard Steph right now.
There's no hope.
Jeez.
Will, you did a preview by the numbers as you do before every game over on willzstats.com. Can't recommend that website enough. Again, it's willzstats.com. Become a premium subscriber, become a Patreon subscriber, because Will posted a very timely article a couple of nights ago that looks back at the 2022-2023 games that the Sacramento Kings played without De'Aaron Fox. So you'll want to go see those. Again, that's over at willzstats.com. Will, it's been a tough go for the Kings against the Warriors lately. What do the numbers tell us about this matchup?
Man, it's just Steph is so good. But the thing that stood out to me, and you guys were talking on this earlier with the Chris Paul, how he's looking so far with him this year. With how good Steph has been this year, the Warriors have been better with him off the court. So just think that through. Again, Steph, second leading scorer in the NBA. They are doing better when he's sitting on the bench. And that's because Chris Paul is carving up second units.
Oh.
So some numbers to back it up. On Steph's, he's been in 127 minutes. They're a plus 12, which is good. Anytime you're a plus anything, and that's total. In the 65 minutes he hasn't played, they're a plus 31.
Man.
That
Chris Paul effect. That Chris Paul effect is real, man. And we saw it on Friday when they played. I mean, that was traditionally in these Kings-Warriors matchups when the Kings would make their move. When Steph went to the bench, the Kings would get active. And not only did that not happen on Friday, they got separation. The Warriors got separation with Chris Paul and GP2 and those guys running the show in the second unit, man. That's a game changer if they can stick with it. If he can stay healthy, it's a game changer.
Yeah, and that's just what they're doing is they are just the whole narrative last year for pretty much the entire regular season and then in the playoffs was attack the Warriors when Steph isn't playing. And you remember Steph had to sit for like a few minutes at a time and then just come back in and be heroic again. But again, I don't know what it'll look like in game 82 if Chris Paul's still here, but for now it's working. So for this game, it's super prominent. And I think the reason that it is, if you look at the matchups, like looking at who Steph Curry has been guarded by, this is by matchup minutes. So again, early sample size, but just fun to look at. Josh Okogie, Chris Duarte, Dylan Brooks, Herb Jones, Dyson Daniels, pretty much every team's top defender. When you switch over to Chris Paul, it's Fox is the top, which again, that's a good matchup for the Kings. But after that, you get Devin Booker, Jordan Goodwin, Jordan Hawkins, Jalen Green, Jeff Green. Like these are not – Chris Paul is at the point with the Warriors rotations where he's going against guys like Jordan Goodwin for the majority of a game. He's just going to go in and do work. And that's really working for them so far.
Well, De'Aaron's out. So what do we do here? I don't want you to give too much of the article that you got to pay for away, but no one is making up 31.3 points per game.
Exactly.
So what does history say the Kings' approach generally is when De'Aaron Fox is out?
Yeah, it's just a little bit of everyone upping their contributions. Looking at last year, there's no one player who kind of really jumped out and took over in the 9 games that Fox didn't play. Herter's numbers jumped. He was the leading scorer at 19.5 points per game when Fox was out. And that's a pretty low number in terms of points per game. So it's really just everyone has to do a little bit more. And that's just because Fox is so good. You're not going to make up 31 points just by having Malik Monk play more or Keegan Murray shoot more. It's everyone has to do everything. And that's in terms of scoring, passing, and this year with defense as well, with Fox's new kind of aggressiveness on the defensive end. So it's got to be that kind of committee approach in terms of picking up the slack.
What do you think about, the Davion Mitchell effect and him getting this opportunity to start? I know you just mentioned like not everybody has to, not one person, is going to have to do what De'Aaron does. It's going to be a committee, but Like, what are you looking from Davion in this game, in this opportunity to start?
I think just him to look for a shot a little bit more. He seems to not really be looking to score early on this season, which again makes sense with how the roster's made up. He's not really meant to be in there and be a scorer. But I think with Fox out, he kind of has to be, especially if the Warriors, we saw how they defended him last year, as in they didn't. So if they're doing that and he's not shooting, I think that really kind of limits the Kings inside because they have that extra floater on defense. So he's got to be aggressive, I think, a little more, get to the paint, hit that mid range. He was really good last year. Maybe that doesn't have to be the threes, but scoring some different ways off the ball and kind of attacking mode, in attack mode.
Keegan Murray's the one who we were all expecting to. I hate this. Sorry. Take a leap.
Yep.
It's true, though.
We were all expecting, Keegan to do more. When you guys talk about offensive distribution, you can't have a zero from Davion. And I feel like Davion's greatest impact tonight could be on the defensive end. But with that said, it can't be zero. He can't have nothing in his position. But with that said, I don't need him to have 31. And when you talk about scoring coming from that starting lineup, I feel like this new version of Keegan Murray that we've seen this season, this could be a chance for him to kind of work, play the role of Fox with Sabonis and that be the combo tonight that works together. And he makes up for, a chunk of the points. Because when I think about point distribution, you got to make 31 points up somewhere. I feel like Malik's going to do it on one end, and I feel like Keegan can do it with the starting group as well.
Yeah, and he's the one, if there is someone who kind of comes in and does it for a stretch of games, I think it's Keegan. I think he has the talent and skill, and he's shown that this year. It's a great opportunity for him where he doesn't have to do it every night. It's more just a few times per night that we've seen so far. But can he do it for a three-game stretch? I'm actually really excited to see how often they go to him kind of working that two-man game, like you said, with Sabonis. I think him kind of hitting that mid-range pull-up off of a Sabonis screen is a play they can just run over and over. He's just got that length to rise up above behind that Sabonis screen and knock that down. So if there's anyone who can bite off a big chunk of that Fox's 31, it's going to be Keegan.
And one thing, I don't know if the numbers bear it out or whatever, but just watching the game, it feels like the Kings are like getting great looks routinely off Sabonis pick and roll, and even JaVale McGee too. Whether it's not a pick and roll, I guess, but the dribble handoff game, Herter and Keegan seem to be getting wide open looks off of that. Malik Monk, when he goes pick and roll with Sabonis, when he goes pick and roll with McGee, getting really good looks at the rim as well. So I don't know how much they incorporate that into the offense every time down, but it seems like they're getting good stuff out of that. Well,
yeah, and just doing a live look at kind of some of those numbers, the handoff play type, the Kings are, oh wow, they are. This is weird. The last in terms of percentile, 0th percentile. Wow. Sometimes, the numbers don't match the eye test.
What
But again,
zero is like they've never used it or they don't make no shots?
0's in their last in the league. So in terms of like ranking, they're running it 13 times per game, 13 possessions per game, which is the most.
Okay.
And it just doesn't seem to be working. I think a lot of that too is just that Herter hasn't been hitting those shots. He's such a high handoff volume type guy. So with him not knocking those down, I'm sure that kind of brings that stat down. Again, not something that I'm super worried about in the long run, but something I'll definitely be keeping an eye on. In terms of pick and roll ball handler, they're the third best team. So like you said, in terms of,
because I'm thinking of like Keegan, a couple of times he came off. I thought it was a dribble handoff, maybe it was a pick and roll. But remember when he got it and he faked, I think Austin Reeves out. Austin Reeves jumped on one side. Keegan gave a quick step back to the side, and I thought that was a dribble handoff, but maybe it's considered a pick and roll in that situation. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard. I don't know how they differentiate. I know they have their whole like camera system for the tracking and everything. But yeah, and then if you look at pick and roll man, they're the 5th best team in the league. So far this season, great in the pick and roll, handoff game, still a little behind. But again, not something that I'm worried about long term. If we get into game 20 and they're still the last handoff team in the league, then I'll be concerned, but we'll see.
How much cash are we getting?
Hopefully a lot.
I was just wondering. They never tell us. It always says cash. How come it doesn't say,
hey, Bomber, you got it.
Petrusev and, $100,000 or $200,000 or $1 million or whatever.
Wish there was a way we could pocket watch this situation.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
I don't know what the premise is. I don't know what we're asking. What are we looking for? I don't know.
I don't know how to.
Can you find overseas contracts?
I don't know. I don't know. I just want to know how much cash we get. Where's Bobby Marks? Bobby knows everything.
I love Bobby Marks.
Wait a minute. Stand by. Did we get it? I think we got it. Wait. Oh wait, no, that's a different deal.
Oh.
The Clippers Clippers just been throwing cash to everybody.
No, they got another deal where they gave cash away.
The Clippers sent out $3.1 million in cash as part of the James Harden deal.
Damn.
$2 million to Philadelphia and $1.1 to Oklahoma City.
Damn.
So how'd Oklahoma City get in on this?
Yeah.
And
where they come from?
We got to have some cash here in the millions. Let's go.
Yeah, we need to get. They need to break us off with a nice little chunk of change.
Will, anyone we need to watch for that we didn't discuss today? Swing stat.
I haven't figured out a swing stat yet. It might just be the threes. It's simple. It's kind of boring, but you got to hit your threes tonight. I think it's that swing stat for the game. The Warriors are just so good in terms. Their defense is looking nice this year.
Yeah.
So far, I was looking for kind of some weak areas in it. I couldn't find much. So it might just be you got to hit your threes. Great. Simple, boring, but sometimes the simple answer is the right one.
It's great. Couldn't find weaknesses in the defense. This is awesome. This is shaping up to be a great season. Hey, just go beat them. That's all I care about. Just go beat them. Great stuff as always, Will. WillZstats.com. Preview by the numbers. Become a Patreon subscriber over there. It's only $5 a month. Plus, you get great insight into. It's like our Bobby Marks.
Yeah,
with stats rather than dollar figures. Yeah, he's our Bobby Marks here. Great stuff, Will. We appreciate you as always, my friend.
Appreciate you guys. Have a good one.